Some stuff that makes you need help.
Welcome back to another episode of Going For It. I am joined this evening by the mics. The mics are here. We are going to close out our final regular season pod, sans Craig, like most of our podcasts, which means it'll actually be good. So, I would like to start, as we always do, with our victor, our winner in the pick'em last week. It was me. I did it. 12 correct selections, and the tiebreaker went to me. Mike Thomas also with a solid 12 spot. Craig Brooks with 11 correct picks. Mike Spillane with a stupid 10.
It's impressive that it was that close, considering the fact that I felt like I was kind of going out there on a limb, because I'm like, I can only make up ground if you guys screw up, and we just all screwed up in different areas. So
It's true. We all missed like one or two weird ones.
as long as I don't
Pat,
bottle
yours were the
I'm
crime
good.
time games.
Yeah, I
last
because I went
two.
against the grain. I went against the grain for both times.
Sure, that's what it was.
I mean, it was. That's exactly what it was. I didn't take the favorite in either of those games, I don't think.
Like I said, as long as I don't bottle it to Craig, I'm good. So
you would
That's the
literally
key.
not have to pick this. Like, you would have to go 0 for this week, and then you would bungle that.
no, I think he's only like 5. I'm only like 5 ahead of him.
7.
4.
4? Oh,
4.
no.
4.
Yeah.
You better
It's
hope
closer-
he
it's-
forgets to put his picks in.
Well, again,
Which is possible.
I had like a week and a half where I missed picks because I was really sad, and that happens. It's get help, people. That's all I'm going to say. But like, no, Pat knows it's good. We're all right.
We're good. We are good. Speaking of, I would like to shout out my brother this week for being a dad. He is a dad now. His son Hudson was born last week. It's been a tough week. Hudson has been in the NICU all week, or not the NICU all week, but he's been in the NICU to start. He's coming out of it. He'll be home either tomorrow or Saturday, which is really exciting. So Hudson, my nephew, good on you, buddy. Good job. Make sure to pee directly on dad. As soon as you get home, just piss right on him. Assert your dominance.
Wait for him to smile and then let it rip.
Just pee right on him. Assert your dominance. You are the alpha now. Do it.
Make eye contact while doing it.
The whole time. Don't lose the gaze. Anyway, moving right along. We are going to get into our picks, and we have another Around the Horn segment because I had so much fun with that last time. I decided to not even change it up this time, but we will have more stuff coming up now that we're going to have less games to talk about. Pittsburgh at Baltimore. I've gone back and forth on this game a couple times because Pittsburgh's in a must-win game. The Ravens are not starting, at least Lamar, but Tyler Huntley's kind of good. I'm on the fence. I'm going to go to you first, Mike Spillane, because I know what Mike Thomas is going to do already.
So I'm bringing up my picks because I did already put them in the app because, again, I can't just not do them again. I understand how much that messes me up. As of right now,
Can't let Craig beat me.
That's pretty much where it's at. At this point, I can't let that happen. I'm still going with the Ravens. They are playing at home. They're going to be resting some people. I know that. But I still think the Ravens can get it done. Tyler Huntley's still a decent quarterback. I know. I'm pretty sure Odell Beckham put out a quote this week saying, "Don't bet on me," because he's one of those things that he knows that he's got incentives for game time, so he's not trying to get injured out there. So he basically is like, "Yeah, don't go ahead and put me in your parlay or anything like that." So noted.
One catch for 6 yards.
Yeah, exactly. He just caught it and just fell.
Why'd you fall down, Odell? Reasons.
So as of right now, I'm sticking with the Ravens, but I am going to go ahead and say subject to change because I'm allowed to have that right.
Okay. Mike Thomas, pick the Ravens.
I'm going to pick Baltimore. You mentioned Lamar Jackson is not going to go, which pretty much seals the deal for Baltimore to win this game. The Steelers have Lamar Jackson pretty well figured out, but his backups, no, they do not have figured out. So Backup quarterbacks have always been the bane of existence for the Steelers. I expect that to continue. However, I will say it would be the most Yinzer storyline ever for Pittsburgh to win this game, the first game of the last week of the regular season, and have to wait until the very last game of the regular season with Buffalo and Miami to see if they're going to get into the damn playoffs, and basically ensure that I will not have a good night's sleep going into next week. And my heart rate will be 130 beats per minute just
That's
watching
good, right?
football.
You want it to be high?
That's my cardio for the year. Yeah. You should have seen last year with the Raiders and Chargers.
Oh my
just
God.
don't end in tie.
Yeah.
Fiasco.
That was great. That was the weirdest thing I've ever witnessed.
Quality television.
How do you feel about Mason Rudolph, Mike?
I mean, I think I've been steadfast in saying Mason Rudolph's the best quarterback on this roster. And no, I have not said that. I've not said that at all.
I was when was that said?
Mason Rudolph has one very strong thing going in his favor. He never once had to start a game with Matt Canada as his offensive coordinator. And it is showing, because boy, has Trubisky looked like hot trash. Kenny Pickett hasn't looked great, except for the game and a half where he didn't have Matt Canada as his offensive coordinator. But Mason Rudolph has come in and actually looks like a serviceable NFL quarterback. He's poised in the pocket. He's making throws. He's doing the right things. He has definitely earned the playing time here. And I think the fact that Kenny Pickett's not starting tells you everything you need to know about where Tomlin feels the quarterback situation is. They don't feel like they don't feel like they know if they have their quarterback of the future yet. That Kenny Pickett has not earned that title.
Yeah, I guess with Matt Canada being Matt Canada, like, it would be hard to judge that. But also, since Canada left, he hasn't really shown a whole lot.
Who, Kenny Pickett?
Yeah.
Well, I would argue
off and on, but
he played one game against Cincinnati and the offense sparked for over 400 yards of offense. He didn't have a touchdown throw, although he did have one that should have been called a touchdown, but the refs botched the call.
Oh, we'll talk about the refs.
What's that?
We'll talk about the refs.
Oh, yeah. No, we're going to talk about the refs. So he had a great game. He was playing okay the following week, and then he busted his ankle, and he hasn't been playing since. So a lot of people, I think, in Yinzer world, we're not good at football analysis. And so they saw Mitchell Trubisky out there shitting the bed for a couple of weeks and thought, this might be Kenny Pickett. So I think they're blaming Kenny Pickett for the couple of weeks of trash that Mitchell Trubisky played.
All right. I am also going to take the Ravens in a clean sweep. I'm also going to put the asterisk because I've gone back and forth. I'm really on the fence about it because the Ravens don't need to win, so I don't know, like, the best defenders aren't going to be out there. The Steelers do need to win, so they're going to pull all the stops out. I just talked myself out of the Ravens. I'm going Steelers. Give me the Steelers to win this game.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. That just happened in real time. I was like, fuck the Ravens. All right, moving right along. Houston at Indy. I'm taking the Texans here because I think it would be a really fun story for them to win the final game of the season. CJ Stroud's back. The Colts are, the Colts. So I'm going to take the Texans. Mike Thomas, who are you taking in this game?
So CJ Stroud's back?
I believe so. I thought I read that. Did I not
going
read
to
that?
switch my pick.
I'm gonna double check right now.
Yeah, if he's back, then I am switching my pick to Houston. But it looks like he's back.
Yeah, I thought I read that. I'm trying to double check. Media. I don't care that he was named the nicest guy to the media or whatever.
I'm pretty positive.
It does look like he's playing.
I think he was back last week too, wasn't he?
I thought I couldn't remember if he was back last week or not.
Oh, did he?
I almost thought that they started Case Keenum again, but I couldn't remember. I completely disconnected from football last week because I wasn't in fantasy and I was mourning.
Fair. Been there, done that.
Yeah. I'm still going to go Texans. I'm going to go Texans. Mike Thomas going Texans. Mike Spillane, what are you doing?
I also have the Texans, and it's really nothing against the Colts. I just think CJ Stroud's a better quarterback, so I'm going to go with the better quarterback play.
He's so good. He's so good.
Called it last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did.
Speaking of, get ready. Mike and I are already talking quarterbacks every day, basically.
Pretty much.
So
It's all we care
we're
about
gonna
right
do we're gonna do some draft coverage here for you guys pretty soon. Once the season kind of comes to a slower pace, we'll start doing some draft analysis and whatnot. Anyway,
And just so you know, when we say that we're doing draft analysis, we're saying that we're doing it. We didn't say it's going to be good. So just come
it's
and
gonna
hang out.
be pretty shitty because neither
It's
one
gonna
of us
be
played football for an extended period of time.
aggressively average. They said 5'8" was too small to be a DB, and then I got fat.
I played running back for one season. That was it. Cleveland at Cincinnati. I'm going to say the Bengals here just because I think it would be the most Browns thing to possibly happen would be for them to clinch the division and then the Bengals win this game. But I don't know. These could be the new Cleveland Browns led by caveman incarnate Joe Flacco. Mike's playing who you got in this game.
I am sticking with the pride of Delaware University or University of Delaware and Joe Flacco.
Deuce?
I don't think they say that. But for this analogy, they do. Nah, give me the Browns. I could because they're not fully clinched yet. I don't believe.
I thought they clinched the division. Maybe I was wrong.
Well, no, the Ravens have the division right now. Remember, they're the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
That's right. I thought they clinched the playoff.
Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure if they had clinched the playoff or not, but I feel like they're still going to want to fight for seeding, so they're still going to go out there and play. Yeah, so give me the Browns.
The Bengals are 6-point favorites, which means Cleveland's clinched the playoffs. They must not be able to improve their standings at all, because why would Cincinnati be 6-point favorites against this Cleveland team? I don't know if this offense would score 6 points against the healthy Cleveland defense. So sure. I'm taking Cleveland, but the 6-point favorite scares me a bit. I'll be honest.
Yeah, this kind of gets my. It's the final week of the season when people are getting rested, so it kind of still gets my disclaimer of it's subject to change depending on what happens. Because we really haven't heard anything about them resting anybody, as far as I know yet.
Not that I've seen.
The only person that I could see them resting right now would probably be Amari Cooper. So, Yeah,
he's a little banged up.
A little bit.
Minnesota at Detroit. Also, what do you guys think the mascot is for Delaware University?
Mayonnaise. It's just the Duke's mayo. It's not the edible Pop-Tart, no.
Oh no.
Not grape poupon?
It is the fightin', that is fightin' with an apostrophe, Blue Hens. The Delaware Fightin' Blue Hens.
Wow.
Sure.
That's a terrible one.
There we go.
It's not great. And their jerseys are a very strong ripoff of Michigan.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure it was University of Michigan. I think I've seen that before, which, again, I hate myself for knowing this.
Yeah, it's not great. Minnesota at Detroit. I'm taking Detroit. They clinched last week, won the division. Super excited for Lions fans just in general. But I don't think they're going to lose this week. I think they're all ready to run through a wall into playoffs.
I think they're pissed.
So give me the Leones. Mike Thomas, who are you taking this game?
I'm taking Detroit, and I'm just throwing out there, Flacco is being rested, so I'm going to pick Cincinnati.
Oh, definitely Cincy.
Yeah, I'm going to switch that right now. I'm going to lock that in. So we're all
Detroit. I don't think Detroit is going to care necessarily about winning this game because it's not really going to improve their seeding, I don't think. But I think they're pissed. And I think they're going to go out there and try to hurt some people in a in a football sense, not a
aggressive,
Saints football sense.
Was it Greg Williams? I think his
Yeah.
name was
Greg Williams, defensive coordinator of the Saints. Mike, explain who you taking in this game.
Give me the fighting Dan Campbells by a million. They're so
he's
pissed, and they have every right to be. So
They're 25 up downs every day this week for that team.
Yeah, they did the burpees. I can promise you that.
Up next, the Jaguars of Jacksonville versus the Tennessee Titans. Mike Thomas, I'm coming to you first.
Yeah, I am taking Jacksonville to win this game because that would be a bad thing for the Steelers. Plus, Jacksonville is playing to get into the playoffs. They win, they're in. So I think Jacksonville's going to do it finally. I don't think Tennessee's going to ruin their playoff chances yet again.
That would be so funny. Mike, explain who you taking in this game.
I also got the Jags. I feel like it's the time. They're going to get it right. They have not had as good of a season as I feel like a lot of people expected them to. I feel like they're going to get over the line here, though, with a win. Getting Christian Kirk back is a big boon for them. And I feel like that's going to help out a lot against a Tennessee team that is going through some things.
Definitely a transition time in Tennessee. Not a great transition either. I'm also going Jacksonville, just a better team. I think they need to win to better themselves as well. I don't actually know, but even if they didn't, if Trevor Lawrence wasn't starting this game, I'd still take Jacksonville. I just think they're a better team at this moment than the Titans are. Also, did I miss why the Lions are pissed? Is the Amon-Ra St. Brown getting snubbed from the Pro Bowl, or like
did you not see the end of the game
against the
last week?
Cowboys?
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. For whatever reason, I thought last week was not that game. And I moved right on without us talking about it. Sorry. I gapped that.
I got so excited for a second thinking that you didn't know.
Gary, the editor, can you cut that out, please?
No. Leave it in, Gary. It's too much work, and I pay you by the minute. So
there's no Gary.
There's no fucking Gary. There's no fucking Riverside does it automatically. I don't give a fuck. I'm giving my secrets away. That was horseshit, right? We're all in agreement that like that was it Taylor Decker?
Decker 68 was the player who reported eligible, and the ref went, nah. It's the other guy.
Nah, it was number 70.
Yeah. The worst part about it, if we're going to dive into this for a second.
Yeah, let's do it.
The NFL, it's pissing me off to no end that the NFL is coming down here trying to gaslight all of us and say it's the Lions' fault. I am not a Lions fan. I have enjoyed watching them. I like Dan Campbell, but I'm not a Lions fan. I'm not a Cowboys hater or anything along those lines. I just was watching that game, and it was bullshit what happened, and it's insane that the NFL routinely comes out and protects the refs on stuff like this. The refs union is the strongest union in the country. And I don't understand
You're so right.
Why. I don't get it. That whole scenario was hot garbage.
And I think one of the things that pisses me off the most about it, and the thing that's funny is that you said that this refs union is strong because it's like that in all sports. Like, obviously, I'm a big soccer guy. I got a bunch of soccer shit behind me. The only thing that can happen at the end of a game is reporters can submit a pool of questions to the referees, and they will pick 3 questions out of the pool and will provide written answers. Like, these people don't get fucking held accountable for anything. And to hear that the only accountability that's going to happen for this officiating crew is, well, now they're off the playoffs. Oh, boo-hoo. They get an early fucking vacation. Like,
do you know what game this week, though?
Do you know what game they're doing this week?
Isn't it Miami Buffalo?
No.
Oh, it's Kansas City.
No.
Oh, I thought it. No.
Then I have to double check. Hold on.
Because I thought it was Kansas City.
You just ruined my thunder a little bit there.
Good. I'm glad. Now I get to talk. I agree with everything you guys are saying. That For me, it's most disturbing in baseball. Like
Oh,
Angel Hernandez.
I was gonna say Angel Hernandez. I don't even fucking follow baseball anymore.
Shouldn't even be an umpire. And he has sued Major League Baseball multiple times because they're like, they won't make him a crew chief and they won't let him ump the playoffs. And he's like, this is racist. And they're like, no, dude, you just suck at this. We're not going to give you important games if you can't call a strike zone in a regular game with the Pirates and the fucking Cincinnati Reds. Like, if you can't call a strike zone in that game, you can't call a fucking strike zone in the World Series. Sorry.
First off, how dare you use the Pirates in your example here?
Terrible.
That hurts.
Team. Awful baseball team.
2, Brad Allen is calling the Steelers in Baltimore game.
Oh no, tomorrow? No, Saturday. No, is that good for you or bad for you? Does he like the Steelers? I guess we'll find out.
He hates
did you guys
America.
Have Jerry Jones pay him money to get calls for you?
But here's the thing.
Did any of your players suck his dick this week? I'm just out of curiosity.
Here's the issue that I have with this whole fiasco, and it goes back to gambling. I
love gambling.
I like NFL betting. I don't do it very often, but I like to talk about it. It can be fun. I understand that there are some people that have problems with it, but overall, I think it's a good thing. I hate the fact that the NFL has gone all in on gambling from the league standpoint. I want it to be legal. I want it to be something that is able for people to do. I don't want the league embracing it because now there's too much of a what if every time one of these calls happen. And when then the league then turns around and doubles down on that bad call, it makes it even harder to defend against the arguments that this isn't all rigged.
Yeah, the shield needs to come first, and it doesn't. The dollars from DraftKings and all the sports book, they're all what comes first. And I didn't even think about it from that perspective, Mike.
No, you're right.
Be honest, but like 100%, it makes it so difficult to. Oh well, they're not calling any playoff games, and it's like, yeah, but they just ruined this fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
These guys just had a game won. It was literally won. It was over,
and impacts the seeds potentially. Yeah. For the entire playoff structure.
Yeah, Dallas wouldn't be up for first place in their division. If they win, they do get first place in the division.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, this put the Lions out. Were in the 2 seed, competing for the 1 seed. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, they're now at a 3 seed. Dallas went from being in the wild card position to being the 2. Like, it shook up a lot of stuff, and it's one of those things that, like, there's way too much evidence that the ref just was not paying attention. Like, you see Goff tell Decker to go and check in with him. You see him remind him. You see Decker go and say, "I'm eligible." I'm eligible. The ref. And the ref walking away from him as he's making eye contact with him saying, "I'm eligible." And then you do see 70 come run in like he's going to talk about it, but obviously you don't know that he said anything. You just know that if anything, the ref reported the wrong thing, but he reported as eligible. He was there. If the ref heard the wrong thing or wasn't paying attention, that should not fall on the fucking player or the team. That is an officiating issue. Like, and there's too much photographic evidence. Obviously, we don't have audio evidence, but you know who probably does is NFL Films.
The NFL.
NFL Films has those high-powered microphones on the field for every fucking game. You know that they're picking up audio of what's happening in conversations between the officials. They can release the tapes.
They won't, though. NFL.
They can't.
NFL
they will never.
Films. They won't.
They will never do it.
Those were burned after the game. It's not even actual film, but they burned the computer that it was on. They were like, never.
They're like, Jerry, this isn't how things work anymore. He said, I said, burn it, damn it.
You're in Jerry world now.
No one can know about this. Delete all the cameras from the internet.
What about Campbell even telling the refs about it before the game even started?
And
like before kickoff, he was like, hey, this is something we've been working on. Make sure you're aware of it.
And Rex Ryan on ESPN the next day, who was so upset with the NFL, and even I think upset at ESPN has their ref liaison who explains calls, and he 100% was backing the ref side during the broadcast and then afterwards. And I think Rex Ryan, as a lot of people did, got really upset at that. And he was blasting this entire situation. He's like, not only did Dan Campbell explain it to him, like, when you're an NFL head coach, you speak with the refs before every game and you literally draw up any potential trick play. The fake punt earlier, he's like, I guarantee you that was one that they warned them about and draw up how the play is supposed to go. He's like, they drew up and warned this crew ahead of time of what this play was supposed to be, and they still got it wrong.
So I know that this will never happen because of ageism lawsuits, but you should only be able to, just like in Senate and for the president of the United States, and like to hold office, to be a referee, you have to be within a certain age range. Like, there's no reason we don't have former players or collegiate athletes that it's like, hey man, you're a D3 wide receiver. You aren't even the best wide receiver on your D3 football team. But you know what? You know these rules front and back. Do you want to come enroll in the program, learn to be a referee? We'll work you through the system, and eventually you'll be an NFL referee. There's no reason not to have something like that.
I agree with your argument on that. And I the only thing that I'll say is I feel like this referee was actually one of the ones who's on the younger side. And that makes it more upsetting. Like,
yeah, it makes it more upsetting.
That does make your argument lose a little bit of steam.
It does. But I think this way for all referees, not just this guy in particular. Obviously, this guy's a fucking putz and can't remember numbers. Should probably be able to count.
Big stupid doo-doo head. Yeah.
Anyway, spent a lot of time on this. We have feelings. They're all negative. Fuck the refs. Fuck the NFL. Be better. Just hold yourself to a higher standard. Be better. Next, we're picking Jets at New England. I am taking the Patriots in what may be Bill Belichick's final regular season game as the head coach of the Patriots. I really think they're going to pull out all the stops for this one. The Jets aren't good, and I know the Patriots aren't either, but I think there's going to be, I think the writing's kind of on the wall for Bill. I think the writing's kind of on the wall for this team. They kind of know that, like, we didn't execute this year. We let Bill down, and now one of the greatest head coaches in football history is being fired because of us. This team, I think they're going to go out and lay it on the line for him in this game that hopefully no one has to watch because it's going to be terrible. But I'm going to take the Patriots here. I feel good about this. Mike Thomas, I'm going to come to you.
I will also take New England, and I didn't think about it being Bill's potential last game there, and it does seem as unlikely as it seemed throughout the early parts of the season. It does seem inevitable that he is gone after this year.
It does feel that
whether
way.
It's because he's fired or because he quits or the team and him mutually depart or whatever.
That'll probably be what it is.
Storyline they come up with. It does seem like he's going to be coaching somewhere else next year.
Mike Spillane.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be either a mutual parting of ways or they're going to say, hey, hang it up and retire. It's just going to depend on if he wants to keep going or not, which realistically he probably does. But at the same time, he also is pretty old. So maybe he's just going to say, I made my money. I'm done. I'm good. I've won all of the Super Bowls. You know, I do have the Patriots winning as well. And I'm honestly, dude, I'm picking with my heart. And that's because I hate them very much, but I want a better draft pick for my Giants. So go Pats.
Ooh, I don't even know how you said that.
That's why I said it with a dumb, sheepish smile. Go Pats. Go get I'll go get some Dunkin' Donuts to celebrate. There you go. Make all you Bostonites happy.
It's real funny to see like younger Patriots fans right now being like, not sure what, like all of Boston sports really, like no Boston team at this moment in time is like the best team in the league, and like all of these little 2000 baby teeny boppers and on are like, what the fuck? And it's like, this is what Boston sports was for a long time.
You had the Celtics sometimes
sometimes,
and that was it.
The Bruins were okay. The Red Sox took forever to win a championship. It was the Yankees titles. And yeah, you had the Celtics. That was really it.
Yeah,
and then
you
Drew
at least had the
Bledsoe
Larry
came to
Bird
town.
era and then the Big Three era. Like they had those, you know.
Yeah, wild. I can't. It's really strange. It's like, Brady obviously retiring last year, and Belichick being out of New England. It's a little bittersweet to see Bill go, and it'll be weird to see him like wearing another cut off hoodie sweatshirt for another team. But I mean, if the dude wants to coach, he's gonna have every opportunity to coach wherever he wants. So very interesting. Very interesting. Atlanta at New Orleans. I'm explaining who you taking in this game.
So I am going to be picking the Saints in this game, and I am also going to pick that Arthur Smith be arrested for crimes against humanity for the fact that he's got so many offensive weapons that he has drafted that he has no clue how to use. And I pray that they find like a quarterback in free agency or something like that. Like find a way to get some kind of better quarterback in there, and a better offensive coach to better utilize Bijan, to better utilize Kyle Pitts, to better utilize Drake London. Like, because this team has like so much offensive talent on it, and then they're just throwing out Desmond Ridder and Taylor Heineke and hoping for the best. Like, it's got to be better, and Arthur Smith should be ashamed.
Desmond Ridder is not an NFL quarterback.
Well, he's not leaving the Falcons until he wins the Super Bowl. He said that. I saw someone retweet it saying this sounds like a threat.
It's because it is. Mike Thomas, who are you taking in this game?
I'm taking Atlanta to be the first team to fire their coach this year.
Oh, okay.
So I will take New Orleans.
I understand.
Yeah. Well, I meant on Black Monday.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, we missed Black Friday too.
They should fire him. I'm also taking the Saints because of everything that both Mikes have said. Arthur Smith's not a good coach.
No.
Not a good coach. And that was honestly solidified for me when I was watching quarterback. And he was like, yeah, I don't know where Marcus is. And it's like, my guy, you are the head coach. You are the dude that brought him here. And you don't know where he is? You're bad at this. You are not good at this.
Very not
Maybe
good.
you should do something else. Bucks at Panthers. I'm taking the Bucks because the Panthers are poopy garbage. Mike Thomas.
Yeah, no, just poopy garbage all day. Tampa Bay.
Mike Spillane.
Just give me. I just want Mike Evans to go off. I like that guy. I've always liked Mike Evans. One of the most consistent wide receivers of our generation. I hope he gets like 3 touchdowns. That'd be fun.
Isn't he a free agent this year?
He is, I'm pretty sure. I don't think they signed him to a new contract.
I don't think they did.
I'll double check that
I think they were in negotiations with him this offseason, and he said if we don't get it done by training camp, we ain't getting it done, and I'm going to play the season. So he's a candidate for a franchise tag, possible extension, but who knows? The Bucks are weird.
Yeah, I actually hold on. When does it say free? Yeah, free. He's free agency next year. He's on a void year, so they have dead cap tied to him next year. But it looks like he's not under contract.
Interesting. Bears at Packers. I'm taking the Bears. Going in on the Bears. Justin Fields is playing for his life in Chicago, and he's kind of playing well. He's playing kind of good. So I feel good about it. Green Bay has this string where they play a couple good games and then they shit the bed, and I think they're due for a good bed shitting. And I think that's going to happen. So Mike, explain what you got.
Honestly, I'm going to be echoing you on that. His teammates want him there. It seems like he wants to be there. The fans are even chanting his name, saying they want Justin Fields to be there next year. I think their issue's head coach, and it kind of sucks that they're saying that they're going to bring Eberflus back. I kind of feel bad for the Chicago fans because of that. But, Justin Fields is kind of cooking lately. I want to see him continue that. And I feel like if he can go into Lambeau have a good performance and get a win in January, that's one of those things that's going to win over maybe more of that front office brass and convince them that he can be the guy for them. So I like him. I'm wishing him well, and I'm picking the Bears.
Mike Thomas.
You guys convinced me to change my pick. I was going Green Bay, but then not only do you make a good point about Justin Fields and the team seeming to rise here at the end of the season, it would be a very Packers thing to have all this momentum going into the last week of the regular season. It's like, win, we're in, baby, and then to lose to the hated Bears.
Yeah. And it just feels so appropriate because the Bears have been owned by the Packers since Rodgers came into the league. And like, it would feel so good for Bears fans for them to take that back a little bit and like get a win in Lambeau, crush some dreams a little bit. I think it if the scriptwriters know what they're doing, to quote Craig Brooks, this is a Bears dub all day. And I'm still not sold on Jordan Love. I know he's like third in the league in total touchdowns. Not sold on him as a quarterback. Still not there. So we'll see what happens there. Denver at Vegas. Mike's playing. I'm coming to you first.
This one made me realize that I need to go ahead and look at my phone to know who I picked. I went with the Raiders because I forgot that Jarrett Stidham is starting for the Broncos. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, as we talked last week, I'm still kind of annoyed and pissed at the whole Broncos situation. It feels really weird and dirty. And I'm rooting for Antonio Pierce. Take the interim tag off of him. I think he deserves to be head coach. Former Giant, always in my heart. Respect and appreciate him. And I feel like he's doing a good job, even though they really don't have a quarterback there.
They don't.
So, yeah, Aiden O'Connell, not a dude for me, at least. But they got other pieces that are getting the job done.
Mike Thomas.
Yeah, I think Vegas players are trying to get that guy a coaching job and remove the interim tag. So I think they're going to be playing lights out. I think Denver is just a cesspool at this moment.
Yeah, feels that way.
So, boy, that's going to be a hot mess. Plus, there is a outside chance where Vegas winning hurts the Steelers' playoff chances. So, I got to go for him.
What do you think about the Russell Wilson situation? You really get to talk about it last week because you were dying.
Yeah. I feel like we might have talked about this in like a text thread somewhere, but it just, the biggest thing, it's a huge slap in the face. And if I were an NFL player, the only thing that would get me to go to Denver in the near term is dollar signs. If I had the choice to go almost literally anywhere else, maybe Carolina, I would still choose Denver. But pretty much anywhere else besides that, I think I would go the other place, unless Denver's throwing a bigger bag of wheelbarrow.
It's got to be
money
substantially bigger too. Like it's got to be like, it can't just be like a mill or two. Like I need like substantial. It needs to be 5,
at that
10.
point. You're going there for a paycheck. You're not going there to compete. You can't trust anything that the coaches and ownership are going to do. It's a fiasco, and it's one of their own making. That's the worst part about it. It's 100% their own making.
Denver. I'm also taking the Raiders in this game. Antonio Pierce, the Raiders defense has come alive. So I just don't envision this going well for the Broncos. Jarrett Stidham, not a quarterback. I agree with everything you guys have been saying. So I'm going Raiders as well. Philly at the Giants. Mike Thomas, I'm coming to you first for this one.
I'm going to take Philadelphia. I just don't think the Giants really want to win, nor do I think I was going to say I don't think they have the talent to beat Philadelphia, but Philadelphia's not that good this year, so I'll take Philadelphia. But
and it's
not going to be a good game.
They haven't confirmed whether it's the backups or not, but they're playing for the division, so I wouldn't think they were going to.
Who, the Eagles?
Yeah.
They have to play. They're not playing well enough to take a week off.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
When Sirianni came out and was like, we're not sure who's going to play. It was like, you guys lost to the Cardinals last week. Lost to the Giants beat the Cardinals, not with Kyler, but still.
Steelers didn't.
Sorry, man. Did they have Kyler then? I don't think they did.
No.
They had Dobbs, right? It was Dobbs still.
Yeah, it was Dobbs. Or
sorry, buddy.
It was after Dobbs got traded, I think.
Oh God. Well then, not Driscoll. I can't even remember who the quarterback was in between that.
Look, I tried to black out that game from my memory. So,
Mike Spillane, who are you taking in this game?
I got the Eagles. As much as I hate to pick them, here's the thing: they're 1-4 in their last 5 games. They got an opportunity to go ahead and try and A, still win the division, and B, give themselves some momentum going into the playoffs against a team that, frankly, is just not very good. The Giants have shown flashes of that of what was a playoff team last year that won a game in the playoffs, but that team is not here right now. So they need to go and win this game, and the Giants need a better draft.
His feet die.
So I think Mike disappeared. Oh, Mike, you're back. Okay, you disappeared for a minute.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm sure what you said was amazing, though.
Yeah, the Giants need a better draft pick. Go Eagles. That's basically what it ended on.
I was living under a rock apparently this week. I didn't realize Dalvin Cook was released by the Jets and signed by Baltimore.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he got signed by Baltimore. I knew he got released.
That's not good for the league.
No, not for you this week.
I don't care about they're going to try. I don't want the Baltimore Ravens to win a Super Bowl. That would be horrific.
It's looking plausible.
I mean, it depends because next week, one of the things I have planned for us to talk about is each playoff team's weakness. And Baltimore turns the ball over on offense constantly. So Lamar has 13 fumbles or something like that, not to mention his picks and just there's other fumble, the running backs fumble. They turn the ball over a lot. So that's not a great thing in playoff football, but regardless, we got to keep going because we got stuff to talk about. Seattle at Arizona. Give me the Cardinals. Again, just because I want a better draft pick. And I think they're going to be riding high a little bit. They stomped out the Eagles. There's no reason they can't beat the Seahawks at home. Mike Spillane, who you taking this game?
Dude, again, I hate to be in agreement on everything. I also have the Cardinals, again, picking with my heart. They looked good last week. I want them to look good again this week. They're playing at home, riding high after beating the Eagles. Go get another dub. You could still get Marvin Harrison Jr. if you win this game.
It's true. Mike Thomas.
Seattle's going to win. Green Bay's going to lose. Seattle's going to steal their playoff spot.
Ooh, I hate what you said. Kansas City at the Chargers. Give me Kansas City by a million because I think this Chargers team is broken. Mike Thomas.
I don't understand why the Chargers are favored in this game, and I don't think the Chiefs are playing well enough to rest any starters. So
they're definitely not.
I'm going to take the Chiefs unless I do a quick Google search here and find out that Mahomes and elements of the offense aren't going to play. I know that Kelsey and Tony are either sitting or questionable, but
I mean, Tony doesn't play any
Kelsey.
week anyways.
That's true.
Yeah.
He does not.
He does not show up.
He does not. He is very injury prone.
Patrick Mahomes is not going to play. It's going to be Blaine Gabbert. Give me the Chargers, baby.
Just kidding. Chargers all day, every day. Easton Stick, my boy.
No Kelsey, no Mahomes, no Pacheco.
Go Chargers. Switching my pick too. Mike, who are you taking?
I'm just going to stick with the Chiefs because the Chargers are fucking dick.
You're not wrong.
I know y'all are sitting over here Easton Stick. Yeah. Oh, no.
Blaine Gabbert. You're jumping on the Blaine Gabbert train?
Blaine train, baby. Let's go. Woo, woo.
Woo, woo. Rams at 49ers. Give me the Niners. I don't even care who their quarterback is. They could put a running back out there and I'd be okay with it. Mike Spillane.
This is the Rest Bowl. If I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
they're all resting everybody.
Pretty sure.
Cooper Kupp, Matt Stafford, Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy. No one's playing. Niners are just a better overall roster, so we'll ride the Niners.
Mike Thomas.
Agreed. Can we just strike a game from the pick'em? Like, do we have to pick this game if they're all resting all their starters?
Think
No,
about
we
it this
have to
way.
pick it.
This is a fun game to put down an anytime touchdown bet because the odds have to be kind of high on most of the players that are actually likely to score a touchdown.
Puka
So we'll get
Nacua.
it up.
He's playing because he's got to break that rookie receiving record.
I was going to say, he actually has to play.
He does. He has to. Dallas at Washington. Dallas could field half a team and probably beat this Commanders team. So I'm taking Dallas here. Mike Thomas.
Washington's going to be golfing at halftime, so yeah, I'll take Dallas.
Ron Rivera will not have a job after the first quarter.
He actually might beat Arthur Smith to getting fired.
It's true. He might get fired during halftime. Mike Spillane, who are you taking this game?
So this is the only one that I can't go with my heart on, in the fact that I want the Giants to get a better draft pick. So I needed, realistically, best case scenario was Washington, Arizona, and New England all win. Because then based off of strength of schedule, the Giants would end up with the number 2 pick. This is just like a horrendous matchup for that, though. I can't in good conscience pick the Commanders to beat Dallas. Maybe it's playing at home. Dallas has a bad run defense. Maybe they can get Brian Robinson to cook a little bit. I don't know, but I'm not betting money on that. Give me the boys, unfortunately.
And our last game of this regular season pick'em, gentlemen, it has been a delight hanging out with you this season. We will have postseason coverage. We will have pre-draft coverage. We'll talk about stuff that isn't football related. So sit tight for that stuff. But last pick of this regular season, Bills at Dolphins. Dolphins, I don't know how to say it eloquently, but shit the bed last week against the Ravens. So I'm going to go Bills here. I am going to take the Buffalo Bills to win the division under the nose of the Miami Dolphins, because I just don't think this Dolphins team can beat good teams. I just don't think that they're good at doing that. Mike Spillane.
So if I recall correctly, if the Bills win, they're in the playoffs. If the Bills and they win the division. If the Bills
Correct.
lose, they don't make the playoffs at all.
Not necessarily
if they lose,
true.
Right. There's other games that, like, if other teams win or lose, they end up as a wild card and either have to play in Miami again for the wild card or no, for the divisional, something like that. They have to play either Miami if they end up in the wild card or another team.
All right. So everything you said there doesn't fit my narrative. So I'm going to keep going.
Scratch what I was thinking. Moving on.
Your points don't matter. They either win or they're out. So I'm going with the Bills.
Mike Thomas.
We have been, I think, for the second half of this season, circling this game on the calendar when we talk about the Miami Dolphins. Because there was a long stretch in their schedule where we're like, they're going to dominate all of these bad teams. But they've got a 3-game stretch at the end of the year where they play good teams. And we'll find out who Miami is going into the playoffs. They had I think, a lucky win against the Cowboys, right?
Did feel lucky, right?
And then a loss last week, right?
Yep.
So now
a bad one too. It was not a good. It wasn't like the Dallas loss would have been, where it was like, oh, it's sort of kind of close. They got spanked.
Yeah. I think this is exactly what we've been setting up the entire season. And I don't know which way to go. Because I do think Miami can be a good team, but they just show enough on tape that if you get past all the highlights and you look at what they're actually telling you, they're telling you that, well, they have a hard time beating good teams. They're at home. That's their best. That's the best thing they've got going for them. And Pat, you've mentioned it before. If they don't have a home playoff game, they're not winning a playoff game this year. And that would be devastating.
Oh, yeah.
I think, for that team and that fan base. I like Miami, but I think Buffalo's going to do it. And I'm going to throw out there, I don't know necessarily, Lamar Jackson had a 5-touchdown performance last week.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to overcome that. I do not think he's worthy of MVP, though. I think if Josh Allen plays good against Miami and they win the division and he goes into the playoffs as the division winner, I think he should be the MVP.
Interesting.
I almost put $10 on that going into last week, but I did not because I like my money too much.
I like money. All right. Well, those are our picks. We're going to jump into some around the horn. I don't know if we're going to get to all of these because I have 6 planned, but it's getting late. The boys, we all got work tomorrow. So let's start. And I'm going to start with Mike Thomas. This is one of the ones I don't think I gave you guys. Who is your MVP and why?
All right. So I just said, I believe if Josh Allen plays well this week, he would be my pick for MVP of the league. Yes, he has turned the ball over a lot this year, but he also has a lot of touchdowns. And I don't think you can look at that Buffalo team and say, well, they're carried by their defense, or, oh, the running game is going crazy, or, oh, Stephon Diggs is really carrying that offense. In fact, none of that's true. Stephon Diggs is actually having less and less of an impact, to where PFT's writing articles today about like, what the hell happened to Stephon Diggs? Where the hell is he? It's all Josh Allen. So if he ends up getting his team into the playoffs as a division winner, when a month ago everyone was writing this team out completely, and he's got, I think, 40 touchdowns or something crazy on the year, give him MVP.
Close to that. Mike Spillane, who is your MVP and why?
So on this podcast, the couple times that I've been on here, I definitely was one of those people who came out and said that I was very much on the Tyreek Hill for MVP train. With that being said, he's had a couple weeks where he really was like, had that option to dominate, and it didn't happen. He's not going to hit 2,000 yards anymore. Like at one point it thought that he might do that by like week 13. Yeah, like, cause that
was wild.
He's cooled off considerably, but you know who hasn't cooled off considerably? I mean, he's going to be cooled off this week because he's got a calf strain, but it's Christian McCaffrey. It's time. And I think the league, for me, I don't think that the league this year has had a quarterback truly be dominant enough that they're worthy of the MVP award. We always talk that quarterback is an MVP award. It's always just a foregone conclusion. I think Christian McCaffrey has been far too essential to that team and their success for this award to go to anybody else. He has been an absolute dominant force as a running back. And is he 27 yet? Like, does he hit Mike Thomas's like age of he's no longer a person that exists in his world? I just want to know if he does. but I think it's Christian McCaffrey. That's who. If the Pro Football Association gave me a vote in this, that's who I would pick for my MVP.
He is 27. He'll be 28 in July.
So but every season-ending injury adds a year to his age.
That is actually
so he's 42.
Yeah, and he's the best 42-year-old running back you've ever seen. Eat your heart out, Emmitt Smith. Actually, no, eat your heart out, Frank Gore. You're still playing, right?
You're probably somewhere, Canada.
His son's getting drafted next year.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Who is to blame for the Eagles' second half collapse? Mike, explain. I'm going to start with you.
When it comes to a team that is really good and has great players at pretty much every single position, like you can't look at that team and say, oh, they have a hole here, they have a hole here, injuries really got them here. No, like this team, the way that Howie Roseman has built the roster, I think it's still Howie Roseman's the one who's running the show over there. He has built this team in a way that is they need to win a Super Bowl this year or next year. Because they just missed out on it, and it has to be now. Because the way that they built this team and the salary cap structures, it's not sustainable for much longer. So they have players that are pretty much either S tier or A tier at pretty much every fucking position on the field. So when it comes to where do you point to blame as to how the fact that they went 1-4 in the last 5 games and just lost to the Arizona Cardinals, who are staring at the number 2 pick in the draft, is coaching. And I know, like, I personally think that Nick Sirianni has the most punchable face in the NFL. Like, not trying to be that person. It's the clip of him crying during the Super Bowl, during the national anthem. It's the clip of him doing this as he's on the sideline. Like, I feel like sometimes the players don't even like him because of some of the antics that he does. It's like, buddy, you realize that the players are the reason that you're in this position that you're at. And I feel like some of it's just started to wear thin on the players. They're not believing in the shtick anymore, and they're kind of getting off the Sirianni train. Do I think that there's like any kind of imminent or looming change there? Fuck no. There's no way that there would be. But he's definitely got to try and turn some motivations around. I've heard that there's like some discontention with, I think, AJ Brown, I was reading earlier today, that like he's kind of like a vocal force in the locker room of like not being happy right now. Which, if that's the case, dude, don't fuck that up. Like, AJ Brown's one of the best receivers in the league.
So
or please fuck that up and let him go and cut him so that way I can sign him. Like me personally, I want to sign him, not to a team. I want him to be my friend.
Hey, AJ, you want to be my friend?
You want to hang out? You like Dave and Buster's? But
there's no salary cap there, though.
Yeah, there's no salary cap for Dave and Buster's. That's for damn sure.
Mike Thomas.
I think this is a team that last year was better than the sum of their parts. They just had a better all-around run. They're not as good this year, but they're also getting everybody's best because they were in the Super Bowl last year. So, combination of returning back to earth a little bit, not being as talented this year as they were last year, and you're getting the best from every opponent that you're playing, results in some bad games that you're going to lose that you should win. And then they are also coming off a stretch where they played the 49ers, best team in football. Sorry, Ravens. 49ers, when healthy, are the best team in football. They played the Cowboys in Dallas. Seattle in Seattle, which is never an easy out, even if you are a theoretically better team than them. And then, you know, what Pennsylvania team hasn't lost to Arizona this year when they should have won? Like, come on, it happens.
How dare you?
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? Look, I think the Eagles are just a little overrated, and the reality is smacking everybody in the face.
And one thing that I will kind of add to that before you go to the next topic, Pat, in soccer, we use a lot of next level analytics. And one of the things that we like to use is like expected goals. And kind of this piggybacks off of Mike's point in the fact that they were greater than the sum of their parts. We look at a lot of these expected stats in the soccer world to show the kind of trends of what a team's doing. Like my team, Orlando City, last year, this past season, our expected goals were around like 42 or 43, which is kind of on the lower end, but we scored like 55, which was the second, like the most we've ever scored in a season. So like we outperformed our expectations on scoring. Does that mean that we were a bad team? No, it means maybe we were a little bit lucky. Maybe some things went our way, but there's definite room for improvement. And there's one of those things that sometimes things will always regress to the mean. I feel like they're seeing that regression to the mean right now. And if, God forbid, the tush push gets banned next year, congratulations, you are now looking at the most bang average of bang average teams. Like it's one of those things. Like I feel obviously they'll still be good, and I'm over exaggerating that a little bit. But how many 1 yard brotherly shove touchdowns did we see this year? Ask like DeAndre Swift fantasy owners; 9. They will tell you exactly how many.
Exactly how many numbers.
I mean, it got to the point where they got to the 2 yard line, and they're just going to start trying that.
See, the Giants really a couple years ago did that too, but we did it at the opposite 2 yard line.
We went into victory formation in the second quarter twice.
QB sneak on 3rd and 11 from our own 1.
Hell yeah.
You don't remember that, do you, Mike?
I do not.
Those are the good
You're
times.
lucky. You're lucky. That's burned in my fucking memory.
We'll be there forever.
That's how Joe Judge lost his job.
That's correct. That is
everyone
exactly
knew
what happened. We were like, "You're fired." We know
he's
it.
like he gave up on the team. Everybody knew.
I will. So we'll do 2 more because I had 6, but we'll hit 4. Who is the most complete team in the NFL right now? Mike Thomas, we're starting with you.
San Francisco 49ers. When they're healthy, they've got I don't mean to offend Brock Purdy and his fans, but they got a good game manager quarterback there who doesn't make mistakes and can deliver the ball to the superstars on the outside, Christian McCaffrey and all that. They have a stellar defense. And I understand what the Ravens did to the 49ers. I understand. I watched it. I enjoyed it. But I do not think, and maybe it's because I am a Steelers fan and we have a bitter, respectful rivalry with the Ravens, but I just can't say that they're the best team in football right now. I still think it's the 49ers, top to bottom. You line those two teams up on a neutral field, and the 49ers, I think, are going to get the best of them 6 times out of 10.
Mike, explain.
So, I hear everything that you just said, Mr. Mike Thomas. And I am going to raise you, it is the Baltimore Ravens right now. And the reason why, and this is the part of the argument that Pat is going to be shocked at, is it's because of the quarterback. Right now, Lamar is a better quarterback than Brock Purdy is overall, as far as can change a game. And with that addition of them just picking up Dalvin Cook out of nowhere, is something that I feel like is just going to help progress them. And as long as they end up having like a healthy Kyle Hamilton and everything going into the playoffs, I think that the most complete team is the Baltimore Ravens. And if you go ahead, you look at some of the wins that we have here. They beat the piss out of the Lions. Their last 3 games, they beat the piss out of the Dolphins. They put up 33 on the road against the 49ers, and they also beat the shit out of the Jaguars in Jacksonville. 3 playoff teams. You know, at this point, it's 3 playoff teams, and also 3 of the best teams, or 3 of the best teams in the NFL that I just mentioned there out of those 4 games. So for me, it is the Baltimore Ravens at this point. The record shows it, and the edge goes to them because of the quarterback play, I think.
All right. And for our final around the horn question, starting with Mike Spillane, who is the biggest loser, the Dolphins in prime time or the Chiefs?
Oh, man. I am going to say the Chiefs. And the reason that I'm going to say that is because of Taylor Swift. And I hate to go ahead and tie this back to her. But this is the thing, is they got so many extra eyes on them and so much extra focus on them for them to just kind of keep ending up shit creek without a paddle in some of these games where they just don't know. It looks like they don't know what the hell they're doing. You had an opportunity to go ahead and captivate an entire new audience into how good of a football team you are, and you guys are just kind of fumbling the bag. So I do think that realistically, it's probably more likely the Dolphins because of the fact that like they really did kind of screw away playoff chances, and realistically, the division's so not good for the Chiefs that it wasn't really in doubt for them. But they could have gotten a whole bunch more people interested in football just because of the fact that Taylor Swift is dating Travis Kelce. And it seems like that kind of didn't happen. And I don't know, did Taylor's, is there like a curse? Like, I don't want to go ahead and say that it's like a bad thing, but like when she's at games, it just seems like Travis Kelce doesn't play that great. Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to say that there's a reason for it, and I'm not trying to blame her for it because I don't want our very, very super huge popular show to get canceled by Swifties. But if Swifties do want to watch the show,
no. The Swifties
did she do something?
Mike.
Like, can you tell us? Like, we're just trying to find out.
Heard that. Mike Thomas.
I think the biggest loser in primetime is definitely the Dolphins. The Chiefs have struggled for sure, but I don't know. I watch those games, and even when they're struggling and losing, you know, it's still the Chiefs. It's still Patrick Mahomes. You don't want to play against them in the playoffs. You don't want to necessarily have to go up against that because you just know that team has the ability to turn it on at a random time and win a tough playoff game. I don't know about that for Miami. And I think a lot of people went into the last round of games that this last stretch of Miami's schedule thinking that they were maybe the best team in the AFC and certainly going to be a really fun and challenging team to face against in the playoffs. And now, is anybody really afraid of Miami to play? I mean, if you're one of the weaker wildcard teams, you might not want to go down to Miami and play them, but they were talking about on the broadcast how Miami's got a really tough home field advantage in December. No, they don't. It's 70 degrees and nice. That's not a home field advantage. That's just called football. That's summertime football for all the rest of these northern teams coming down south to play.
It's true.
Their home field advantage is in September when it's 100 degrees outside.
And the other team's on the hot sideline.
Yeah, like I think Miami has definitely been the biggest loser, not just on the football field and in actual football standings, but in the eyes of football fans. I don't see the same talk about Miami that we did 3 weeks ago.
All right. Talk amongst yourselves while I count to myself quietly.
7, 2.
So,
8.
Mike, question for you, since we asked you, we requested that you watch it. Did you and the wife decide to sit down and watch the beauty that is Rebel Moon? And when I say beauty, please, everyone that loves Zack Snyder, know that I am saying that with all of the sarcasm in the world.
I read about that online, and I saw a lot of people, they must have been the Snyder fanboys, saying Disney's going to be so embarrassed that they passed on this movie. Because the story that I heard, and I don't know if this is true or not, the story that I read was that he pitched that to Disney as a Star Wars movie.
That's correct.
Disney said, oh no, we're not doing this. And he didn't change anything in the script except for a little bit of world setting, and then basically sold it to Netflix to be whatever that thing is. And the trailers looked horrendous.
And the movie looks worse.
Great. Slow motion all day long. It even had slow motion in the trailer.
Of course it had slow motion in the trailer. It is a Snyder film. You think he's going to hide the ace up his sleeve? And then he told you the ace is actually a 3 of clubs.
He should be forced to change his name to Snack Snyder.
Snack Snyder. I love it. So our winner, before we talk more about Rebel Moon, because I'm about dunking on that movie. Our winner of tonight by a score of 90-84.
That's a lot.
Yeah, is Mike Spillane, our champ.
Hey, I got the win this time.
Honestly, the McCaffrey argument, it swung me. That was really, everything else was super close. Your McCaffrey argument was chef's kiss. I loved it. So with that being said, my friend, the floor is yours.
Well, I do appreciate the floor, and always a pleasure competing against you, Mr. Thomas. We agreed on a lot of things last time. This time, I'm happy that we were very much not in agreement every time. And we didn't rehearse this. This is all live. We're doing it live, baby. It was great off the cuff. But yeah, so Rebel Moon. It sucks butts. He ripped off lightsabers, which was kind of like one of the worst, there's so many just sci-fi and space movie faux pas that he just leans into and just kind of pulls those tropes, and he's like, people haven't done this the way that I'm gonna do it. And it's like, no, they fucking have, dude. We've all seen it plenty of times. But yeah, I don't really have anything to say as far as taking the floor. So Pat, tell me your thoughts on the movie, because I know that you have feeling. This was not planned, by the way.
It was not. I didn't expect this to go this way, but I am excited. Buckle up, guys. We got another hour of podcast.
Oh no, I gotta go, guys. Good night.
Bye.
Mike Thomas, not having seen it, if I were to tell you that I need you to think with the most basic, debased version of your brain when I ask you this question, don't put any social context or political feeling behind it. If I told you that there was going to be someone that was going to wield katana lightsabers,
okay,
what nationality would that person be?
I mean, if you're asking that, I would assume Japanese.
Yeah, right. So the only person that has swords in this entire universe is an Asian lady. Why?
Everyone else has guns.
Everyone else has guns. She got swords. She got lightsabers that are not lightsabers.
Does she deflect bullets?
Nope.
No. Does she die immediately in the prologue?
No, she kills a spider lady. Spoilers.
And also,
and that was one of the worst action sequences I've ever seen in a film.
It was a very bad sword fighting sequence. The worst action sequence and the worst acting performance of this movie, though, goes to Ray Fisher, who played Cyborg in the Justice League. And considering he keeps getting roles in Zack Snyder movies, and he really hasn't acted much outside of that, hasn't done a whole lot of other things. I'm just kind of at this point, I'm thinking he's got blackmail. He's got like nudes or something of Zack Snyder that he's just ready to put out to the press as soon as he's like gets canned, because dude could not act himself out of a fucking paper bag. Like, his performance is terrible. Like, someone told him, like, in theater class, like, you need to enunciate, so every line he delivers is delivered like this. It's like, you can't give a motivational war speech when you're just talking like you got a mouthful of sand. Like, I don't know. It's just, dude, it's hard to watch. His action sequence that he has at one point is a rough watch. There's a lot of slow-mo. There's at one point an asteroid scene swipe transition, which is just, when that happened, I legitimately laughed out loud. And then when Pat caught up to where I walked through the movie, he was in a group chat with me and my buddy Justin. And he's like, oh my God, was that an asteroid scene transition? And I was like, yeah. I'm happy that we both reacted at the same thing, just in different ways.
Just so you know, in our chat, I just posted his speech. His character's name is Bloodaxe, Mike. In case you were wondering what kind of awesome world building that was being done there. So just in case you wanted to check it out, it's like 2 minutes and 40 seconds. It is maybe the most inspirational speech you'll ever hear in your whole life, given by someone you have zero attachment to. And that includes life and this film. He shows up and literally makes this speech to people.
Who had the best motivational speech, this character or the Cardinals coach?
Oh my God, it might be the Cardinals coach. His speech might be better than this Ray Fisher one.
Here's the thing. They beat the Eagles. This guy died in a war against what was basically space Nazis.
It's true.
Spoilers.
It's a tough. It was a tough watch. I'm not gonna lie. I was watching it downstairs, and my wife came down and was like, "What the fuck are you watching?" And I was like, "Nothing good." She was like, "Okay." And it was so bad I watched like 90 minutes the night before, and I just couldn't watch anymore. So I had to walk away, and I watched the rest of it the next morning because like I needed to finish for me so that I could say that I did it. But like, I didn't like it. I was upset that I did it. But last thing I'll say about this. They start talking about this general, this like feared, amazing general. And they're like, we got to find him. They figure out where he is. There's no building of like where these planets are, what the story on the planets is. They literally go to a planet, get a guy, get off the planet. It is immediate. It is insane. There's no backstory or building inside of this story whatsoever. Anyway, they find out where this general is. They go to this planet. They walk up to this thing that looks exactly like the Roman Colosseum. It looks like he like literally took a Getty image of the Roman Colosseum, put it in space, and was like, they're like led to him. He's in the dirt covered in mud and shit. And they're like, we got to clean him up. The next scene is someone scrubbing the dirt off of him. They're like, go away. And he's like, I don't want to talk. I don't want to do it. Don't call me general. I don't want to do it. And the main character, who also is a terrible actress, by the way, the main character is like, what about for vengeance? And then it's just a pic, like, he just like looks at her, and the next scene he is on the ship. That is it. That is the only interaction they have. And she's like, vengeance, and he's like, you son of a bitch, I'm in. And I was like, what? What one word?
And the thing that sucks about it is that arguably the actor that played that general is the best actor in the movie, outside of the person who just voices a robot, because that, yes,
it's Anthony Hopkins.
That's what they wasted Sir Anthony Hopkins on, is voicing their version of a service droid.
Oh no.
Yeah, he's a droid. It's a super predictable story.
Yeah, which, by the way, the droid gets like knocked into like some horse shit, and they tell him to go like wash off in the lake, and then I'm just kind of sitting here, I'm like, so robots are impervious to water here? Like, 'cause he literally goes over to a river and is cleaning himself up, and it's just like, yeah, no, there's no malfunctions. That's cool. I guess they got that kind of technology. Meanwhile, they're on this planet that definitely does not have like great technology, but like at the same time they do. It was I was the world that they lived in confused me so much, and I didn't really talk with you that much about it, Pat. But like they had so many things that were like technologically advanced, like sliding opening doors and big lights, and then like just an old wood stove.
So it's Tatooine.
Yeah,
but
pretty much.
But worse. Yeah.
How is it worse?
Because
they have a harvest.
They plant everything by hand. They are farmers and hand plant everything, but they also have space doors that open. And you're like, I'm sorry, what?
Hold on. So did the Skywalker farm, and they were raising water. Like they were water farmers.
Right. These are not water farmers. These people plant plants. They plant food in the ground. The Tatooine is cool because it doesn't have water, so what they're doing is important. This place just harvests food for itself. They don't even like ship out the excess or anything like that. Like their goal is to harvest for themselves and live, and that's it. And there's also like 20 people that live on this side of the planet, I guess.
And you want to know the funniest part of like the like epilogue of movie number 1? You find out that obviously the main bad guy, you find out that that's the main character, the female, that's her father. Believe it or not.
That's true.
It's an adopted father, so like it's different, okay? But yeah, he's the father figure to her, and I wish that I was making that up.
Yeah, he's not. It was accurate.
And he's leading. She's part of the rebellion against him and his galactic empire. It's not called a galactic empire though. But again, really. I don't mean to hammer this home, but again, they made them look really way too much like Nazis. Like it's very on the nose. Like, no, that's kind of a Nazi.
Well, and the main actress she constantly wears like a cloak with a hood up. It's white, so it's not a Jedi, but also she wears a cloak with a hood up all the time
with laser swords.
She doesn't have the laser swords. She has a gun.
Mike, go ahead and look at your phone right now, because I just sent you a picture.
You just sent me a picture of a Nazi.
That's from the movie. That's the bad guy from the movie. He's one of the bad guys from the movie. And is it not a little too heavy on the Nazism? Like the Nazi-esque,
Yeah. No, that's a Nazi.
Yep.
Nazi.
Get him to Nuremberg.
Yeah, so it's terrible, and you should watch it with your wife and just make fun of it the whole time.
Hold on. My TV time with my wife is precious, and you're telling me to burn it on a 2.5 hour movie that's going to be hot garbage when I could be watching an entire season of What If.
2 hours and 15 minutes, so don't over exaggerate it, playa. Okay.
Well, you're
Stay
not
in your
accounting
lane.
for the time where we pause it and go, "What the hell was that?"
but this is the thing is we can have you and your wife on the next pod to talk about all of this together, because you're gonna it's one of those things that the reason we're recommending it to you is because you like fun quality action movies, and this is one that's just going to make you say, how the fuck did you do everything so wrong?
Literally everything.
To the point to
You
where
didn't
you're
get
like, I can have
anything
I can have a fun discussion about this.
So it's so bad it's good.
No,
it's so
not.
bad it's bad.
It's
but
so
it's
bad
fun
that
to
you
talk
can't
about.
wait to talk shit about it with all of your
Right,
friends.
that one.
It's not like Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus, where it's so bad that you like just laugh at it because of the fact that you're like, I can't believe I'm fucking watching this pile of garbage. It's one of those things where you're like, I can't believe I'm watching this pile of garbage, but man, are the boys gonna love to talk about this shit. It's a different kind.
It's a lot. Oh, and the general guy is played by one of the dudes in Gladiator, the African American gentleman in Gladiator. He's also the African American gentleman in Blood Diamond. He
Jimon
was also,
Hansu, I think his name is.
I think
I can't
that's
say his
but
name.
I fear getting it incorrect, but he's super good actor. Everything he's been in, he's like really fucking good. And he's the general. He was also in Guardians and also in Captain Marvel, because he was the same character.
Oh, he was that guy. Yeah, I know you're talking
that
about.
guy, exactly.
The guy that says,
so
who?
he's the
Yeah, I'm trying to think of that
general.
character's name.
He's the general, and they wasted
Korath.
his acting ability.
Korath, that's it.
They wasted his acting ability for like 4 lines of just him being like, no, I'm not general. Don't call me that. I'm not that. Vengeance.
Yeah?
And then he's on the ship. And then he's just there.
Hey, I'm probably not going to watch that, but it sounds horrible. I've enjoyed What If.
I haven't started it yet.
I'm 3 episodes in.
I have not started yet. Guys, this is a precursor to off-season content, and we will make sure Mike Thomas watches Rebel Moon, and we will do a Rebel Moon talk about in the off-season, because he'll have all day Sunday to watch Rebel Moon. So the TV time will be much more ample after football season is over.
If Paw Patrol can spoof it, I can watch that on Sundays with the family.
There you go.
We'll get a hold of Paw Patrol. We'll see what we can do with our overflowing number of contacts due to this wild success of this show.
My daughter has just discovered Paw Patrol, and I was driving to my mom's for dinner tonight. It's dark. My daughter's holding on to some toy Paw Patrol, and she yells, "I can't see Rubble. It's too dark." Like, come on. You've been watching it for like 2 days, and you know all the characters' names already? Stop it.
And you're caring about what they look like in the dark? I don't give a shit. Just want to get home. Oh, my daughter said purple today, so that was where we're at.
Ooh,
and
nice.
Yellow. So we're having good times over here. We're still not. Oh, and Moana. She's got a Moana phase. So she goes Momo or Moma, and I'm like, okay, that's Moana. Yeah.
Good music though.
It is good music. That's good. And she's obsessed with Turning Red. We've also been doing a lot of, and she goes, Mei. She knows Mei. So we watch Turning Red a lot. And then Bluey. Bluey is consistent in the house.
Bluey
so good.
Is a parenting show that kids like.
Correct. It's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal. And I love
it.
It makes me feel stuff. And I don't love that part. But
it makes me feel like a horrible parent.
How am I supposed to live up to this dog? God damn it.
Let's go play Keepy Uppy, damn it.
All right. Well, that is where we'll end tonight's episode, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. We greatly appreciate it. We will be back next week to break down some playoff matchups, to talk more about some football. Maybe Rebel Moon, ? Mike Thomas?
He's not going to watch it.
Hold on, let's pull out the magic 8 ball here. Don't count on it. Don't count on it.
Guys,
I'm sorry, that was a candle. Not a.
Oh man,
not a magic
shit!
gift.
I get those confused all the time. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. We greatly appreciate it, and we will see you all back here next time.